Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today, guys, we're going to be jumping down briefly into the world of Bitcoin, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what we think is in store next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, guys, you are missing a trick. It's the first place we go to notify you of the ins and the outs of everything that is going on in the crypto space. So why not check it out? Linked in the description below. It is completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. Check it out. Below. Okay, Bitcoin paired up with USDT here on the hourly chart. Binance is the data source. Now, this is just following on from yesterday afternoon's video. Basically, slow weekend like usual. We're going to go through a little bit of data here just to kind of reflect on kind of where things are currently sat. But we're going to talk about these wave structures to start with, and we'll take it from there. So, as we can kind of see here, we had 3 waves up, 3 waves down, 5 waves up, 3, 3, 5. Now, a lot of people will be inclined to try to think of this as maybe, we're in the wave 4 looking for that 5th wave higher, and kind of the usual kind of stuff that you find. But unfortunately, I don't think that's what is going on here. And I think we are actually just in a corrective move up, and now we're correcting down in 3 waves. So as you can kind of see within this little area here, we've come down into an A wave, we've moved up here into our B wave movement. And if I go ahead and measure this distance, grab this one just here, move this over to our high point just there, and it's going to have to come down just a fraction more here. Let me actually go and grab that right onto the wick there. You can see that our C wave looks like it's got to come down to about 16,928 on this scale. Okay, so we can see that there's a reasonable move to the downside. Now, as you can kind of see, we had the supply zone. This is an area that we obviously hit right at the top here, and we have the demand zone right at the bottom of this area here as well. Okay, now this is something that I like to draw on many of the charts these days. It actually comes from, let me just load up this one. Okay, it comes from something called Smart Money Concepts. We have got this chart here. Let me just clear this up a little bit. We're on Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the Binance chart as well. We have the red and the green blocks on here for Smart Money Concepts, and essentially what this is doing is tracking, where the pools of liquidity are most likely to be, right? And basically following the big institutional players and the liquidity hunters, etc. Where is it that they are likely to buy, and where are they likely to sell? So essentially, you find that these areas tend to get revisited, right? So you can see that this green area just over here, we kind of moved up from it, we came back down, we revisited it, and then we rallied up, right? So essentially, this is kind of the thing that Smart Money Concepts kind of teaches us, is that this is an area where lots of buying pressure was. Okay, we rallied up. Chances are that when we revisit this area, this is where a lot of buying pressure is also going to be still, and then you can move up. You can see that here we test, and we rallied here. We then tested it, broke it briefly, but still a lot of buying pressure in this range that we shot back up again. Likewise, across here, you can see that there's a lot of selling pressure. Okay, we can see selling pressure here, we can see selling pressure up here, and we can see selling pressure up here. Okay, so that's kind of the concept of this, and I've basically drawn these on without kind of all the fancy indicators that you see on some of these things, and it kind of gives us this area, right? So we had at the top here, and this is between 17,200 and 17,450 approximately. You can see here that basically we moved up, we got rejected, we moved up, we got rejected, we moved up, we got rejected. Okay, so this is a key area of supply. Okay, this is where people are willing to sell, sell their Bitcoin. Likewise, down here, you can see that this was a previous area of selling. We pushed all the way through it. When we came back down, it turned into a buying area, and buying area. So this becomes our demand zone. Okay, and this for me sets between 16,580 and 16,800. Okay, so we end up in this kind of spot, and basically all we've been doing is ranging. We're basically trading between the buy zone and the sell zone, if you will, the demand and the supply. And basically all we're doing is just trading between here. So nothing exciting is overly happening. We're just kind of ranging sideways until big catalysts occur. Now, I am later going to do a video on the weekly close position, and basically what next week potentially could bring for BTC. So do watch out for that one this afternoon. And that's going to go into what's happening in terms of various different governments around the world, if they're going to be doing interest rate hikes and things like that, and what I think that might mean to price action for BTC and the wider crypto space. So do watch out for that one. But in this kind of smaller kind of time frame picture here, without kind of going into the kind of bigger macro pieces, it doesn't look overly promising either. Now, from our stochastic RSI point of view, we're nice and high, meaning that we are probably going to come down into this oversold area again. Now, over the weekend, because volumes are so low and it's only retail driven, we don't tend to find actually terribly too much price action occurring, and we just continue to go sideways. But we do have our target. It's possible that we hit that later today. We'll see how that kind of goes. But for the most part, yeah, we are looking at this move to the downside. Now, from our on-chain metrics and these whale wallets, we can still see that they are de-risking. There's a little bit of an uptick here with these guys, but nothing terribly too major. So just playing games, I think, by the looks of it at the moment. In terms of retail investors, well, they do what retail investors do best, and that is continue to accumulate. And it appears that retail investors are FOMOing in, whilst big money is basically selling to them, as you can kind of see with these whale wallets here. Okay, so just going to be very mindful that on a bigger scale, we've only really got retail money coming in here, and I don't think that's going to last terribly too long with the economic climate the way that it is. I think people will be forced into selling their assets at some point in the near future. In terms of an inflow and outflow, typical weekend stuff, we have decreased 12,000 in, 12,000 in, 14,000 out. Again, trust on exchanges isn't necessarily there, so we are to be mindful that a lot of people essentially are looking to basically withdraw from the exchanges, do cold storage, self-custody, and that's why you see such an increase with these wallet counts on the retail side, because a lot of people have been withdrawing from those exchanges. And that is a pretty sensible thing, I think, in my mind, because sometimes these exchanges are not truthful. We obviously did have FTX telling us that they were perfectly fine, they were perfectly liquid, there were no issues there whatsoever. And then the next thing that you know, we are in this shit show that they call FTX collapse, and all these various other companies that were too overexposed, yada, yada, yada. So just kind of bear these things in mind. It's safer to have self-custody, in my opinion, but there are risks associated with self-custody. So get to know those risks, get comfortable with how to control your own money, be responsible with your own cryptocurrency, essentially. Now, we are affiliated with a Ledger, so if you are looking for cold storage devices, there's a link in the description down below to Ledger. And again, there are many other manufacturers and other brands out there, so do your own research. We just like Ledger. It's a lot of bang for your buck, if you will. Now, we obviously do get a kickback if you do use that link for clarity and kind of making sure that everyone's aware of that. And yeah, so the other thing to kind of bear in mind, that if you don't want to use the link below, that's perfectly fine. But do make sure that you go ahead and you get it directly from the manufacturer. There's a lot of fake devices out there that unfortunately do catch people out. And we have seen some recently with everything that's going on with FTX. If FTX didn't catch you out, unfortunately, some scammers have managed to bag themselves some crypto through some fake devices that are on eBay and Amazon, for example. So just make sure that you're buying it directly from the manufacturer. Do yourself a favor. Don't worry about the extra $10 that you might be saving. Essentially, it's peace of mind over anything else, and just get it directly from the manufacturer. Do yourself that favor. Yeah, so if that's what you want to do, check that out. Now, in terms of price action for BTC here, I'm expecting us to probably move down towards our demand zone, but I would also expect us to fluctuate around a little bit. So, for example, you can kind of see this three-wave movement. It wouldn't be a hard push to see something maybe like this, where we hit this lower C-wave target, we move up, and then we move back down and we revisit the demand zone. Next week, well, I'll leave that for this afternoon, so do check out that video. I do think there's going to be a lot of things that we need to think about for next week ahead of the game, so do watch out. I think that there's a lot going on next week, and yeah, it could be a very, very volatile moment in Bitcoin history. So guys, I am going to basically leave this video right there, and if you have found it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And as I said earlier, right, do expect some volatile movements. Expect down, up, and then down, revisit the demand zone area, and all that wonderful stuff. Until the next one, guys, have a fantastic day.